Hey everybody, it's Funny here once again. Hope you are doing well. Today we're rambling about the Boss DR-110. It is a 1983 drum machine. It sounds like this. Okay, Boss DR-110. It is a 1983 drum machine, an analog one. At that, I would say it is in the vein of the 606, at least in sound, although not in a lot of other departments. It is marketed to guitarists, I guess, under the Boss brand, I believe. It's a classic, and while lots of videos, including the Bad Gear episode where Florian predicted that you could build your retirement fund off these, I see these things used all the time. I have a feeling that because it was marketed to guitarists, maybe it's just the Boss brand, whatever, maybe it's just where I am, but they come up used constantly for whatever reason, and they're actually really good. I don't know if I could quantify it. I've never played an actual 606 or an 808 for that matter. If I could just say, it kind of sounds just like, I don't know, a little more towards, I don't know, the 808 than the 606 was. A little bit. Still 80s analog drum machine. Here's the kick. Here's the snare. And I love how it sounds. I'm going to jump ahead, though, because I feel like this placement order is a little out of whack, and go to the clap. Yes. 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 So you can finger drum. And another bizarre ordering. The open hi-hat is first, then the closed. I believe these choke each other. Yes. They all just... Everything sounds good. No customizations whatsoever. No decay for pitch, tuning, decay, choke or not choke, nothing. What you see is what you get. There are some mods, I believe. There's some circuit bending that can be done to change that, but obviously none of that going on here. Cymbal. Don't love the cymbal. That's okay. I love everything else on here. What you do get is the 707 style screen on here. You get a master tempo. I'll say syncing is a problem on here, and by that I mean you can't do it in any way. You can't even... it doesn't even show you a specific tempo that you're entering, like you don't get a full number on the screen or anything. You just get a macro knob. Do you want it slow? Do you want it fast? And I think the idea was that if you're playing your guitar along to this thing, you would just set it and go. Yeah, it makes it a bit annoying. However, I did find a workaround. There is an analog trig out. If you're willing to either snap it to grid or just roll with it, what have you, you can use this analog trig to clock your Eurorack, and I was doing that. Now, obviously, if I want to do more interesting accents, I am accenting it elsewhere. You kind of forego that in terms of getting it to clock, but it is actually like... It's a way to clock it to your rack, and I actually, I'm using that. So we are hearing that right now to get my data bender to the clock. I'm not hearing it this very moment, but in this setup, I am clocking the data bender with the accent trig output here. So how do you use it? So if you're not manually triggering it here, which the manual points out is a very viable thing, I'd love to see how many Canadians in the 80s were sitting around playing like this. And these buttons, I believe, some people in the forums I was reading, or maybe in the Audio Pills video too, were complaining about these buttons. I actually think they're, for finger drumming, they're totally fine. Maybe I'm just lucky. If I have any complaints about them, is the order. I just putting open hat before close seems really weird to me. I'm just totally not used to it. Anyway, programming it, the drum sequencer. What I will start with is holding shift and going into step mode, so step right. You'll see this blinking dot here. We are standing on the closed hi-hat. I want to get over to the bass drum. I want to enter some triggers. So we were going to, I need to remember this. We hit start. Yes, that will enter a trigger, and then we hit stop. That will not, and then we'll hit stop. And the reason I'm doing this is because I want to do tap tempo, but you don't get any metronome, you don't get any clock or anything. So I will start 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1. So now we have 4 on the floor. If I now hold shift, switch over to tap right, which is live recording, I would call it, or I think that's sort of the modern equivalent. So hit start. And now I'm giving myself a metronome with my kick drum. Oh, I hear a hand clap trigger in there. The last couple tracks are shared on this last view. So if I want to get rid of that, I'll show you a hotkey trick. I got like Dirty Wave M8 on the brain. Hold hand clap and press 7. Hold 7. It'll clear that out. So now we've cleared our track. And you could do that for the kick. I won't do that just yet. But if you do something wrong, just hold it down in tap right and then hold pattern clear, and that'll clear just that track. Stop it, and then we'll hit play. I can set my tempo now. And some live triggers. I wish there was live mutings. That's like my one, I don't know, that's my techno brain. I'm just like, I want to do live muting and unmuting, but we can't. We're just going to build it up together. And honestly, like these sounds, yes, it would, you know, they're fixed. You could easily just use a sampler to use these sounds because you're not going to change them anyway, but it's charming, right? Like, look at this freaking pleather, plasticky, weird casing it comes in. Like, I don't know. There's a charm to it, right? Obviously, we don't take the path of most resistance for no reason, but maybe just stupid reasons. Okay, close hi-hat. And it's like, it's hip-hop sensibilities, right? Is what I'm hearing. And I don't like the cymbal, but I feel obligated to use it for demonstration purposes, so let's do it. Maybe that's a good opportunity to demonstrate how you can, switch back and forth between the modes. So we are in tap right, let's go back to step right, and then we will hit the cymbal, and see how that bottom row will change to cymbal and hand clap. So on the 1, I am going to enter a cymbal, and then we'll keep going. We don't want to do that. We'll just hold back. We'll go back into tap right and hit play. We'll bring the tempo up. Yeah. And how fast does it go? Let's find out. I feel like one of the first things I'm picturing here is just like if you've ever been to your local noise show and seen someone just run a very, I don't know, non-aggressive instrument into a wall of distortion pedals and stuff like that. I just feel like if there was a good candidate for that, it would be the 110. So you'll notice I'm foregoing a lot of things. There's measure reset. There is different measure options. You can actually use a song mode on here that will bring up your overall length. There also is a sort of finicky triplet mode that they have. Rather than actually giving you like swing or other options, what you can do is hold shift and press this 6 button here. Brings the measure, I believe, but brings your steps from 16 to 12, and then, you know, because it's a division of 3 that way, you can just sort of force triplets out of it by, anyway, I just feel like it's going to be pretty painful to try and get into the weeds to that degree in 2025 with a machine like this. I would rather just enjoy the sounds like this. Now I'll show you one thing I missed, which is right on the panel. I'll show you another thing I missed right on the panel, the balance. So it's just like a macro mixer. If you want more kicks, go to the left. And it never mutes them entirely. And I find I'm usually in this territory, right? If you go to the right, more cymbals, more high end, right? So it's not a filter, it's changing the mix of the different instruments. But for that reason, I kind of want to, the kick's a little soft. I don't know, like it's a nice full kick, but it's hard to hear in the mix. So when you're using this balance, you can just bring the kick in a little bit more. That's really nice. Now on that note, let's get to the accents. Go into, I want to get out of tap right. We'll go into step right, hit on our accent track, and we'll go 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3. And so we're using that. Back to our pattern play. Accent amount, turn all the way off. So we can make our kicks pop. And like I said, I'm using that analog output here to clock other stuff. So now I have Data Bender in tune. And on that note, I feel like I really want to run this through some Eurorack effects, do some destruction with it, run it through distortion and what have you. It just calls to me that way. So, all right, I'm Tafony. What's your favorite 80s drum machine? Like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.